And it may be the close season, Phil, but for some football fans, there's a summer of worry ahead.
Yes, that's right, Gary. Specifically, Hamilton Accies, relegated to League One after various breaches of SPFL rules. The club begins pre-season, would you believe, next week, but it's unclear where, after leaving spiritual home New Douglas Park. David Equi is the chairman of Hamilton Accies Supporters Association. They held a meeting last night about the situation. David, morning to you.
Phil.
Homeless, relegated, this must be a worrying time for you and all Hamilton fans.
Extremely worrying, Phil, extremely worrying, and just a dire situation all round because the fixtures are due out shortly and we don't have a home ground to play in. And if we don't have a home ground, the SPFL won't let us fulfil those fixtures, so we run a really strong risk of getting booted out.
The fixture's out next Friday. Hamilton, the club said, was a regrettable decision to leave New Douglas Park amid a row over stadium ownership. It hopes to relocate to Broadwood and Cumbernauld, 14 miles up the road. Is that an option, David, that fans can get behind?
I think, 99% of fans are strongly against the move, but the last thing we want is to have a gun to the head, and if we say no, then the club goes out of business. So we may reluctantly have to go to Broadwood, but by far our preferable place is to stay in Hamilton. The clue's in the name, Hamilton Accies. We've been there 150 years. There's all sorts of connections and family down through from my family, 50 years of going, and all sorts of other people that have had their ashes spread on the pitch. We feel, really passionate about it. We can't believe that we've got a scenario of Hamilton playing in Cumbernauld and Clyde, who used to play in Cumbernauld, playing in Hamilton. It's just bizarre.
The club may go out of business. Can you expand on that?
Well, as far as I'm aware, the SPFL have to ratify the move to Cumbernauld, and they haven't done that so far, despite the fact that the club claiming that they were in very advanced negotiations. So if they've not ratified it, then unless Hamilton can find another ground within the next week or so, they're in dire trouble. I think, as far as I'm aware, it would go to a vote of all 41 clubs, and they could very well end up getting expelled.
So
actually, the death knell.
Actually, this morning, David, for all fans who are maybe enjoying a nice break after a very, very long football season, you're actually saying that you're concerned that your club may not actually begin the new season.
Absolutely. I'm in very deep concerns about whether we'll be able to see the Accies play again, to be honest, due to the complete lack of information coming out. And unless somebody can come up with a last minute, we really are at the last chance saloon now. And this is the most dire time, I think, in the club's history. And we've had some terrible times in the past, but this is as bad as I can remember. And I've been going for 50 years.
I should say we had a fairly lengthy statement from Hamilton Accies laying out the background to the current situation. They say the only viable alternative to New Douglas Park is a temporary relocation to Cumbernauld, but also say that they can't make any further comment beyond this because it's at a critical stage. And I guess from a Hamilton long-term point of view, the club say that their long-term aim is to build a new stadium in Hamilton.
To me, that's absolute pie in the sky. Why on earth would you have two fully functioning football stadiums in a town the size of Hamilton? There is no space. It's just nonsense. The only place for Accies to play is at New Douglas Park in Hamilton. 100% it's got to be there.
And this row between the club and the owners of New Douglas Park, do you think that as the deadline approaches, the very real deadline, we're only 9 days away from the fixtures being released, do you think there's anything that fans can do to try and get both sides to amicably come together to find a future?
Well, I think that would be very, very hard indeed because they seem to be miles apart. We were told at one stage that they had the deal to buy the stadium. The club were originally going to buy the stadium and they were 95% there on the way. Now, that's not too big a gap to be bridged. And we'll do everything we can to help and try and sort something out last minute. But, it's got to be... The SPFL can't force Hamilton to play anywhere. It's got to be, their choice. So at the end of the day, it's up to the board and the stadium owners to come to some kind of agreement. But at the moment, they're miles apart. So it looks like Cumbernauld is the only option. And if that doesn't work, then we're really struggling.
David Equi, chairman of Hamilton Accies Supporters Association. Thank you, David. Part of that meeting of supporters last night. Just to touch on that statement that Hamilton Accies gave us. They say we can't make any further comment beyond what they've laid out to us by way of a situation between themselves and the owners of New Douglas Park. Separately, the statement continues, we are genuinely sorry for any inconvenience, frustration or upset caused to our supporters due to this necessary, but they say, temporary relocation.